Welcome back, dear travelers of the macabre, to another spine-tingling episode of our haunted storytelling series. In this installment, Episode-2, Most Haunted Hotels in the United States, we delve deeper into the shadowy corridors and ghostly legends of some of the nation's most infamous lodgings. From coast to coast, these hotels stand as monuments to history, tragedy, and the supernatural, their walls whispering secrets that defy explanation. Each one carries its own unique story, tales of love lost, lives cut short, and spirits who refuse to fade into oblivion. There is something undeniably magnetic about haunted hotels. Unlike private homes or secluded forests, these establishments are designed to welcome guests, to provide comfort, luxury, and respite. Yet beneath their polished veneers lie darker truths. They are places where countless lives intersected, where joy and sorrow mingled, and where the echoes of human experience linger long after checkout time. For those brave enough to book a stay, these hotels offer more than just a room for the night. They promise an encounter with the unknown, a chance to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond the veil. In this episode, we will journey across the United States, exploring 5 of its most haunted hotels. We'll uncover the chilling histories behind their spectral inhabitants, from Civil War soldiers still marching through hallways to jilted lovers wandering empty ballrooms. Along the way, we'll hear first-hand accounts from guests and staff, examine evidence collected by paranormal investigators, and piece together the fragments of folklore and fact that make these locations so irresistibly eerie. Whether you're a skeptic seeking rational explanations or a believer eager to embrace the supernatural, these stories are sure to leave you questioning what lies beyond the boundaries of our reality. So dim the lights, and prepare to embark on a journey through time and terror. As we step inside these haunted hotels, remember that every creak of the floorboard, every flicker of the light, and every whisper in the dark could be a sign that you're not alone. Let's begin. The Stanley Hotel, a grand stage for ghostly performances perched majestically against the backdrop of Colorado's Rocky Mountains. The Stanley Hotel stands as a beacon of elegance and opulence, or so it seems at first glance. Since opening its doors in 1909, this iconic establishment has drawn visitors with its stunning architecture, luxurious accommodations, and panoramic views. But beneath its refined exterior lies a darker narrative, one steeped in tragedy, mystery, and whispers of the supernatural. It is here, amidst the grandeur of its gilded halls and sweeping verandas, that countless guests have encountered phenomena that defy logic, phenomena that continue to fuel its reputation as one of America's most haunted hotels. One of the most enduring legends tied to the Stanley revolves around Room 217, a suite rumored to be haunted by the spirit of Elizabeth Wilson, a former chambermaid. According to historical accounts, Elizabeth was working late one evening in 1911 when a gas explosion tore through the room, leaving her severely injured. Miraculously, she survived the incident but never fully recovered from her wounds. Today, guests staying in room 217 report strange occurrences believed to be linked to Elizabeth's restless presence. Beds mysteriously make themselves, items move without explanation, and the scent of fresh laundry lingers in the air, as though Elizabeth continues her duties even in death. Some claim to see her translucent figure tidying up the room before vanishing into thin air, while others describe hearing soft humming or footsteps echoing in the silence. Another prominent figure in the hotel's haunted lore is none other than Stephen King, whose infamous novel The Shining was inspired by a stay at the Stanley. Though King himself has dismissed claims that his work directly mirrors the hotel's hauntings, there's no denying the eerie parallels between fiction and reality. Guests frequently recount experiences reminiscent of scenes from the book, including visions of spectral twins standing at the end of hallways and elevators operating independently, stopping on random floors despite being unoccupied. One particularly chilling account involves a family who swore they saw a man in a vintage bellhop uniform pushing a luggage cart down the corridor, only for him to disappear upon closer inspection. Such encounters have cemented the Stanley's place in pop culture as a quintessential haunted locale. Beyond individual rooms, the Stanley's Grand Ballroom serves as another focal point of paranormal activity. Once a hub of high society gatherings and lavish galas, the space now hosts concerts, weddings, and events, but not all attendees are living. Musicians performing on stage often report hearing discordant notes played on phantom instruments, disrupting their melodies mid-performance. Attendees seated near the balcony swear they've seen shadowy figures dancing gracefully across the floor, their movements synchronized yet devoid of visible partners. During one event, a bride claimed to feel cold fingers brushing against her shoulder, turning to find no one nearby. Moments later, her bouquet inexplicably flew off the table, landing several feet away. The hotel's basement, too, harbors its share of unsettling tales. Employees tasked with maintenance duties describe feeling watched by unseen eyes, accompanied by sudden drops in temperature and the sound of heavy machinery clanking in the distance. Paranormal investigators exploring the area have captured compelling evidence of residual energy, including faint whispers recorded during EVP sessions and thermal images revealing humanoid shapes lurking in corners. One team member recounted seeing a glowing orb float toward him before dissolving into mist, leaving behind an oppressive sense of dread. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Stanley remains a popular destination for tourists and thrill-seekers alike. Its blend of luxury and eeriness creates an irresistible allure, drawing thousands annually to participate in guided ghost tours, overnight stays, and paranormal investigations. For those brave enough to spend the night, the promise of encountering Elizabeth, the spectral bellhop, or one of the countless other entities said to roam its halls offers both fascination and terror. Yet, as each new visitor crosses its threshold, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the darkness that lingers within these walls? Or will they become another chapter in the Stanley's haunted legacy? The Crescent Hotel, echoes of tragedy beneath the Ozarks nestled atop West Mountain in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. The Crescent Hotel cuts a striking silhouette against the rolling hills of the Ozark Mountains. Built in 1886, this Victorian-era masterpiece was originally conceived as a luxury resort, catering to affluent travelers seeking refuge from city life. With its towering turrets, ornate woodwork, and sprawling gardens, the Crescent quickly became known as the Queen of the Ozarks. However, beneath its picturesque facade lies a darker history, one marked by scandal, suffering, and untimely deaths that have left an indelible mark on its haunted halls. One of the most infamous chapters in the Crescent's storied past centers around Dr. Norman Baker, a self-proclaimed cancer specialist who purchased the property in 1937 and transformed it into a dubious medical facility. Despite lacking formal medical training, Baker claimed to possess revolutionary treatments capable of curing terminal illnesses. Patients desperate for hope flocked to the hospital, only to find themselves subjected to quack remedies and outright neglect. Investigations later revealed that many died under questionable circumstances, their bodies hastily buried in unmarked graves scattered across the grounds. Survivors spoke of atrocious conditions, inadequate care, and a pervasive atmosphere of fear. When federal authorities finally shut down Baker's operation in 1940, the damage had already been done. The Crescent's reputation as a place of healing had been irreparably tarnished, replaced by a legacy of exploitation and misery. Today, the spirits of those who suffered under Baker's watch are said to haunt the hotel, their anguish manifesting in myriad ways. Guests staying in room 218, located near the former operating theater, report hearing muffled cries and the metallic clang of surgical instruments echoing through the walls. Others describe waking up to find their bedsheets soaked with water, as though drenched in tears. One particularly harrowing account involves a couple who swore they saw a gaunt, pale figure lying motionless on the bed, its hollow eyes staring vacantly at the ceiling. When they approached to investigate, the apparition vanished, leaving behind an overwhelming sense of despair. The hotel's fourth floor, once used as patient wards, is another hotspot for paranormal activity. Visitors described feeling an inexplicable weight pressing down on them, accompanied by the sensation of icy breath against their skin. Shadows flit across peripheral vision, always just out of reach, while disembodied voices mutter fragmented phrases like, "Help me," and "It hurts." Paranormal investigators conducting overnight sessions have captured chilling EVP recordings, including pleas for assistance and anguished screams that send shivers down the spine. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops concentrated near doorways and windows, suggesting the presence of residual energy tied to specific individuals. Adding to the Crescent's spectral infamy is the legend of Michael, a young boy believed to have perished in a tragic accident during the hotel's early years. Witnesses claim to see his playful spirit darting through hallways, giggling softly before disappearing around corners. He is often spotted carrying a toy ball or peeking out from behind furniture, his innocent demeanor offering a stark contrast to the darker forces that inhabit the premises. Staff members tasked with cleaning the upper floors speak of finding small handprints smeared on glass surfaces, only to vanish moments later. Some even report feeling tiny hands tugging at their pant legs, as though seeking attention or companionship. Modern-day explorers venturing into the hotel's labyrinthine basement discover remnants of its troubled past, including rusted medical equipment and faded signage directing patients to various departments. The air grows colder the deeper one ventures, punctuated by the distant sound of footsteps pacing endlessly along tiled floors. One group of urban explorers recounted becoming disoriented and finding themselves walking in circles, unable to locate the exit. Panic set in as disembodied whispers urged them to stay with us, prompting the entire team to flee in terror. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Crescent Hotel remains a beloved landmark, attracting curious souls eager to immerse themselves in its macabre charm. Its rich tapestry of human drama, interwoven with tragedy and loss, creates an atmosphere unlike any other. For those brave enough to book a stay, the opportunity to confront the ghosts of its tumultuous past offers both fascination and unease. Yet, as each new visitor steps across its threshold, they must decide whether they are ready to face the echoes of the Ozarks and the restless spirits it left behind. The Queen Mary, a floating nightmare off the California coast, docked permanently in Long Beach since 1967, the RMS Queen Mary stands as a haunting testament to the golden age of ocean travel and the tragedies that unfolded aboard its steel decks. Originally launched in 1936, this majestic ocean liner ferried celebrities, dignitaries, and ordinary passengers across the Atlantic with unparalleled luxury and speed. During World War II, however, the ship took on a far grimmer role, serving as a troop transport vessel under the name HMS Grey Ghost. It was during these wartime voyages that the seeds of horror were sown, planting the roots of the Queen Mary's enduring reputation as one of America's most haunted hotels. One of the most infamous incidents occurred in 1942, when the Queen Mary accidentally rammed and sank her escort ship, the HMS Curacao, off the coast of Ireland. Over 300 lives were lost in the disaster, many of whom were trapped inside the smaller vessel as it broke apart. Survivors claimed to hear screams coming from beneath the waves, a haunting sound that has reportedly echoed aboard the Queen Mary ever since. Today, visitors staying overnight in the Shipturn Hotel often recount hearing faint cries and splashing noises near the lower decks, particularly around areas associated with the collision. Some describe seeing shadowy figures clad in naval uniforms wandering aimlessly, their faces etched with expressions of eternal anguish. Beyond the Curacao tragedy, the Queen Mary harbors countless other tales of death and despair. One such story involves the spirit of John Petter, a crew member crushed to death in the ship's engine room in 1966. According to legend, Petter's restless spirit continues to wander the narrow corridors of Boiler Room No. 1, his final resting place. Paranormal investigators have captured chilling EVP recordings in which disembodied voices whisper warnings like, "Get out," or "Leave me alone." Staff members tasked with maintaining the area speak of tools moving inexplicably, lights flickering without cause, and the sensation of being watched by unseen eyes. Some even claim to see Petter's translucent form lingering near the machinery, his gaze fixed intently on intruders before fading into nothingness. Another recurring presence aboard the Queen Mary belongs to a young girl named Jackie, who allegedly drowned in one of the ship's pools. Guests frequently report seeing a childlike figure playing near the now closed first-class pool, giggling softly before vanishing into thin air. Others describe feeling an inexplicable coldness or seeing wet footprints appear spontaneously on the tiled floor. One particularly unnerving account involves a father who swore he saw his daughter conversing with a blonde-haired girl in period clothing. When he called out to her, The mysterious child disappeared, leaving his daughter visibly shaken and unable to explain what had transpired. Even the ship's staterooms are not immune to the supernatural. Many guests recount bizarre experiences that blur the line between reality and nightmare. Lights turn on and off by themselves, radios tuned to static-filled stations, and the overwhelming scent of salt water fills the air, evoking memories of the ship's seafaring days. Some wake up to find their belongings rearranged or their bedsheets tangled impossibly tight, as if restrained by invisible hands. Others report seeing shadowy figures standing at the foot of their beds, only to vanish when approached. These encounters are so frequent that the hotel offers guided ghost tours, allowing curious visitors to explore the darker side of its storied past. Paranormal investigators have conducted numerous expeditions within the Queen Mary S. hull, capturing compelling evidence of its spectral inhabitants. Thermal cameras detect significant temperature drops in certain areas, particularly near the engine room and pool deck. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, while audio recordings pick up faint whispers interspersed with agonized cries. Perhaps the most disturbing discovery came during a live investigation broadcast online. Viewers watching the feed spotted a translucent figure darting across the screen in real time, prompting widespread speculation about the nature of the entities haunting the vessel. Despite its haunted reputation, the Queen Mary remains a magnet for thrill-seekers and history buffs alike. Its blend of elegance and eeriness makes it one of California's most sought-after destinations for those willing to test their courage against the unknown. For those brave enough to spend the night, the promise of encountering Jackie, John Petter, or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Yet, as each new guest steps across the threshold, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the shadows lurking within these steel walls? Or will they become another chapter in the ship's tragic tale? The Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. Glamour meets ghosts in the heart of Los Angeles, where dreams are forged and shattered beneath the glittering marquees of Hollywood Boulevard, stands the historic Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. Since opening its doors in 1927, this Art Deco gem has played host to some of the entertainment industry's brightest stars and darkest secrets. Marilyn Monroe, Clark Gable, Charlie Chaplin, and countless other luminaries once graced its halls, leaving behind not only memories of glamour but also whispers of something far more sinister. One of the hotel's most enduring legends revolves around room 928, said to be haunted by the ghost of a jilted lover who took her own life within its confines. Guests staying in this room frequently report strange occurrences: lights turning on and off by themselves, radios tuning to static-filled stations, and the overwhelming scent of perfume lingering in the air. Some claim to wake up in the middle of the night to find the bedside mirror fogged, as though someone had just leaned close to exhale upon it. Others describe hearing soft sobbing emanating from the bathroom, only to discover it empty upon investigation. Another spectral resident of the Roosevelt is believed to be none other than Marilyn Monroe herself. The screen icon famously lived in the hotel during the early days of her career, and her presence is said to linger in the suite she once called home. Housekeeping staff have reported seeing a blonde woman dressed in vintage clothing gazing wistfully out of the windows, disappearing when approached. Guests lucky enough to stay in the same suite often wake up to find items rearranged or their belongings inexplicably moved, as if the starlet were tidying up after them. But the hauntings extend beyond individual rooms. The hotel's famed Cinegrill nightclub, now converted into a private event space, is rumored to be a hotspot for paranormal activity. Patrons seated at Table 9, located directly beneath the stage, have complained of sudden drops in temperature and the sensation of icy fingers brushing against their necks. Performers who take the stage above swear they can feel unseen eyes watching them, while staff members recount stories of glasses shattering without explanation and chairs scraping across the floor when no one is nearby. Even the hotel's elevators are not immune to the supernatural. Employees and guests alike have reported instances of the lifts stopping unexpectedly on random floors, opening to reveal empty hallways bathed in an eerie silence. On occasion, disembodied laughter echoes through the carriages, accompanied by the faint strains of jazz music, a nod to the hotel's heyday when live bands entertained patrons late into the night. The Omni Parker House. Boston's beacon of history and horror nestled in the heart of Boston's historic district, the Omni Parker House stands as a monument to elegance, tradition, and the timeless allure of New England hospitality. Established in 1855, this storied hotel has welcomed presidents, authors, and dignitaries, earning its place as one of America's oldest continuously operating hotels. Its opulent interiors, adorned with crystal chandeliers and velvet furnishings, evoke an era of refinement and sophistication. Yet beneath its polished facade lies a darker narrative, one steeped in tragedy, mystery, and the supernatural. For over a century, the Omni Parker House has been whispered about as a haven for restless spirits, its hallowed halls resonating with echoes of the past. One of the most persistent legends tied to the hotel involves Room 303. A modest yet infamous suite said to be haunted by the ghost of a traveling salesman who met a tragic end. According to accounts, the man checked into the room during the early 1900s, only to hang himself shortly thereafter. Though the exact circumstances of his death remain unclear, his spirit is believed to linger, tormenting unsuspecting guests with inexplicable phenomena. Visitors staying in room 303 report hearing faint knocking sounds emanating from the walls, as though someone is desperately trying to escape. Others describe feeling an oppressive weight pressing down on them, accompanied by the acrid smell of smoke. One particularly chilling account comes from a couple who swore they saw a shadowy figure swaying gently from the ceiling fixture, its outline illuminated briefly before vanishing into thin air. Adding to the hotel's spectral roster is the presence of a young boy, believed to have perished in a fire that ravaged part of the building in the late 19th century. Witnesses claim to see his playful spirit darting through hallways, giggling softly before disappearing around corners. He is often spotted rolling a hoop or peeking out from behind furniture, his innocent demeanor offering a stark contrast to the darker forces that inhabit the premises. Staff members tasked with cleaning the upper floors speak of finding small handprints smeared on glass surfaces, only to vanish moments later. Some even report feeling tiny hands tugging at their pant legs, as though seeking attention or companionship. The hotel's basement, too, harbors its share of unsettling tales. Employees assigned to storage duties describe feeling watched by unseen eyes, accompanied by sudden drops in temperature and the sound of heavy machinery clanking in the distance. Paranormal investigators exploring the area have captured compelling evidence of residual energy, including faint whispers recorded during EVP sessions and thermal images revealing humanoid shapes lurking in corners. One team member recounted seeing a glowing orb float toward him before dissolving into mist, leaving behind an oppressive sense of dread. Perhaps the most famous ghostly inhabitant of the Omni Parker House is none other than Charles Dickens, the celebrated author who frequented the hotel during his visits to Boston. Known for his penchant for storytelling, Dickens allegedly staged private readings of his works in the hotel's library, captivating audiences with tales of redemption and morality. Today, patrons seated in the library claim to hear faint murmurs of dialogue, as though a rehearsal is underway. Others describe catching glimpses of a distinguished gentleman in Victorian attire pacing anxiously near the fireplace, his expression one of quiet contemplation. Some believe Dickens' spirit remains tethered to the hotel, drawn back by unfinished literary ambitions or the warmth of admiration from those who cherish his legacy. Modern-day explorers venturing into the hotel's labyrinthine corridors discover remnants of its troubled past, including faded photographs of long-gone guests and yellowed ledgers detailing reservations made decades ago. The air grows colder the deeper one ventures, punctuated by the distant sound of footsteps pacing endlessly along tiled floors. One group of urban explorers recounted becoming disoriented and finding themselves walking in circles, unable to locate the exit. Panic set in as disembodied whispers urged them to stay with us, prompting the entire team to flee in terror. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Omni Parker House remains a beloved landmark, attracting curious souls eager to immerse themselves in its macabre charm. Its rich tapestry of human drama, interwoven with tragedy and loss, creates an atmosphere unlike any other. For those brave enough to book a stay, the opportunity to confront the ghosts of its tumultuous past offers both fascination and unease. Yet, as each new visitor steps across its threshold, they must decide whether they are ready to face the echoes of Boston and the restless spirits it left behind. When examining the haunted histories of America's most notorious hotels, from the opulent Stanley in Colorado to the floating specter of the Queen Mary, striking similarities emerge that transcend individual locations and eras. These patterns are not mere coincidences but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. Together, they weave a tapestry of shared experiences that bind these establishments in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business, a thread that runs through nearly every haunted hotel. Whether it's the victims of wartime disasters aboard the Queen Mary, the betrayed lovers haunting the Hollywood Roosevelt, or the tormented souls of the Crescent Hotel, these spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices, that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. This theme resonates deeply across cultures and belief systems, reflecting humanity's innate need to resolve conflict and seek peace, even in death. It reminds us that the past refuses to remain silent, speaking instead through the cracks in our understanding of reality. Another shared characteristic is the role of architecture in amplifying paranormal activity. Historic hotels, with their labyrinthine corridors, thick walls, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered within their confines, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: bedrooms where relationships ended, saloons where violence erupted, or basements where secrets were buried. The Stanley Hotel's Room 217, the Crescent Hotel's 4th floor, and the Omni Parker House's basement all exemplify how architecture becomes a vessel for lingering energies, transforming physical spaces into portals of the supernatural. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing guests to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from the Hollywood Roosevelt and the Stanley Hotel, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. As we bring this chilling journey through America's most haunted hotels to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking floorboard, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of America's haunted hotels yourself. Walk the same halls where spirits are said to roam, stand in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken institutions offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted hotels, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.